In this video, we are going to do the part 2 of piecewise functions, and we are going to be graphing. Okay, so look down and find this one in your notes. You notice that it's defined in pieces, right? I have two different pieces right here, and I'm going to graph each of those pieces separately. So I'm going to do this in two different colors. I have colored pencils and highlighters in the classroom if you want to use those. You can also use your own colored pencils or pens. So I'm going to do this first one in the top box. So I'm going to put 2x minus 1 right here, and it tells me that the starting point is -2. Now that may seem a little odd because there's no equal to right here. It says the values that are less than -2. But what that means is I'm just going to have an open circle when I get ready to graph it. I still have to start with this boundary line or this boundary point even though there's no equal to. All right, so let's substitute in -2 for x, finding that y value, and I get -5. Well, I remember from geometry that it takes 2 points to make a line. Right now, I've only got one. So to find my other point, I will just pick an x value that is less than -2. And I have the freedom to pick any x value I want to. I'm going to choose to pick -3 because it's close, and I feel like it's more likely to fit on the graph that I have. Okay, so then the question comes, should I have an open circle or a closed circle right here? Some people want to put an open circle because -2 was not included, but think about this, -3. Is it included in the set of things that are less than -2? Well, yes, -3 is less than -2, so that's going to be a closed circle. All right, so I'm going to put these 2 points on my screen, -2, -5, and I'm going to put an open circle. And then -3, -7, and I'm going to put a closed circle. Now, when I connect those, should I connect them going to the right or should I connect them going to the left? Well, if you look at this, I want the values that are less than -2, less than goes left. So I'm going to connect those this way because it's going to the left. I want to have an arrow on the end of this because it is all the values less than -2. There is no stopping point. Okay, let's do the other piece. Let's look at this one. So up here, I'm going to put -1/2 x plus 3. Just like before, it gives me my first x value. So I'll go ahead and substitute that in for x. -1/2 times -2, +1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, now look, this time I have less than or equal to, so I want to have a closed-in circle. And just like before, I have the freedom to pick anything I want that is bigger than -2. I am going to choose to pick something that's even. So when I multiply by 1/2, I'll get a whole number. So that will be easier to graph. Well, the even number that is closest to -2 is 0. So I'm going to choose to use that one. Oh, sorry, that's a mess. Anything times 0 is itself. So this one works out to be 3. Is 0 included in the set of things that is bigger than -2? Yes, it is. So I'll have a closed circle for that one as well. All right, so the point -2, 4, I'm going to have a closed circle. And the point 0, 3, I'm going to have a closed circle. Now when I connect these, I want to connect greater than -2, so I'm going to connect to the right. And it's kind of hard to aim on my screen with my finger, so I apologize for that. You guys can do a better job on your note paper, and also I'll have rulers for you that you can use also. All right, notice that this one is a function. If I did the vertical line test on it, it would never cross more than one point at a time. And that's why it's important to be careful which way you go right here at the x value of -2. If I did them both to the left or both to the right, then this would no longer be a function because the vertical line test would fail. Okay, some things to remember as you start this next section. When you have f of x that is equal to just a number, 8 or 12 or whatever, no x, just a number, that means you have a horizontal line. The y value is always the same. That makes your table much easier to fill in. All right, if I have something like this, -2 is less than x is less than or equal to 3, that means I have a starting point of -2. And see, that one's going to have an open circle because there's no equal to. But this one also has an ending point at 3, and this one is going to have a closed circle because of that equal to. So when I have something like this, I do not have freedom with what to put in my table. I have to put the starting point and the stopping point. Okay, so let's look at this one. This first one is just like we had before, where I have 3x up here, and I need to start with my x value of -2. Okay, let's substitute that in. I'll get -6. All right, so what do you think? Should it be open or closed? It's going to be an open circle because there's no equal to. And now I have the freedom to choose anything I want that is less than -2. Just like before, I'm going to choose -3 because that's most likely to fit on my table. And is -3 included in the set of things that are less than -2? Yes, it is. So that is going to be a closed circle. Okay, let's connect the dots. So first will be -2, -6. That's going to be an open circle. And -3, -9, that's going to be a closed circle. And when I connect these, I'm going to connect to the left because less than goes left. All right, let me trade colors and let's do that one on the bottom. So I'm going to put x plus 5 up here. All right, now notice this time I have a starting point and a stopping point. I don't have a choice. I have to put those two values in my table. All right, and I'll substitute each one of them in for x, finding the y values that go with them. Okay, let's see what we have here. On -2, should I have an open circle or a closed circle? I should have a closed circle because I see an equal to. And up here on 4, I should have an open circle because there is no equal to. Okay, so let's put those on there. -2, +3 is going to be a closed circle. And 4, 9 is going to be an open circle. And then I will connect the dots. Notice in this case there is no arrow because I have a starting point and a stopping point. In this one I have an arrow because it's all the values that are less than -2. That set never ends. This one has a starting point and a stopping point, so no arrow. Okay, let's try this one. So on that top one, I'm going to put just plain 8. Okay, what does that mean about the type of line that I have? Right? Remember we wrote this before. That's going to be a horizontal line. So for the x values that I have, -10 and 4, I have to choose my starting point and my stopping point. But I know the y value is going to be 8. There's nothing to substitute in. This is a horizontal line. The y value is always 8. On -10, I'm going to have a closed circle because I see an equal to. And on 4, I'm going to have an open circle because there is no equal to. Okay, let's draw those on there. -10, +8 is here, and 4, +8 is over here, and then I will connect the dots. No arrow because I have a starting point and a stopping point. Okay, let's do the bottom piece. -2x plus 14. I have a starting point and a stopping point, so I have to use those. I'm going to substitute in my 4 first. I'll end up with -8 plus 14, which is 6. And then I'll substitute in my 8. -16 plus 14 is -2. All right, I can see right here on 4, I should have a closed circle. And I can see that on 8, I should have an open circle. No arrow because I have a starting point and a stopping point. Okay, so now let's put our first dot on 4, 6, right? Because -8 plus 14 was 6. So I will put a dot on 4, 6, and it's going to be closed. All right, and then my next one will be at 8, -2. So I'm going to go over here to 8, -2, and I'll put an open circle, and then I will connect the dots. All right, so there is my piecewise function, no arrows on either side because I had a starting point and a stopping point for both. Okay, find in your notes where it says more piecewise functions, flip over there, and then let's find number 10 in that section. So I want to start off with -x plus 3. Okay, what x values do you guys think I should put in here? Well, I have to put -5 because that's my boundary point. And then I can pick anything less than -5 I want to. I'm going to choose -6, but you might have chosen something different. That's okay. As long as it's less than -5, it's fine. Now be careful with your negatives when you substitute in here. This negative is going to be here on the outside, and this negative is going to stay with the 5 on the inside. -5, +5 plus 3 is 8. And I'll do the same thing with -6 and end up at 9. Okay, so at -5, open circle or close circle? Close circle. How about -6? I don't see -6, so I have to think. -6 is contained in the set of things that are less than -5, so that's going to be a closed circle also. All right, so let's go to -5, 8, and we'll put a closed circle. And then we'll go to -6, 9, and put a closed circle there also. Now when I connect these, I'm going to go left because less than goes left. And also I'm going to have an arrow because I want all the things that are less than or equal to -5, which continues on forever. Okay, let's do the bottom one. So I've got 2x plus 1 as my bottom function, and my x values are -5 and 4. I don't have a choice on that because I have to use the starting point and the stopping point. Okay, let's substitute those in there. 2 times -5 plus 1, so we -9. And 2 times 4 plus 1, that's going to be +9. All right, on -5, I should have an open circle. And on 4, I should have a closed circle. Okay, let's put those on there. So -5, -9, that's going to be way down here with an open circle. And +4, +9, that's going to be way up here with a closed circle. And then I will connect the dots. No arrows this time because I have a starting point and a stopping point. Okay, let's try this one. In this case, there was a misprint, so I need you to put the 2 that was right here, I need you to put a negative in front of it. So this is going to be x is less than or equal to -. Please make that change on your notes. Okay, let's see. My top function here is going to be -1/2 x plus 1. All right, what x values do you think I should choose? Well, I don't have a choice but to pick -2, and then I can pick anything less than -2 I want to. Now, I'm going to choose wisely to get something even so that 2 will go into it evenly, and then I won't have to worry about working with fractions in my graph. I'll have all integers. So something less than -2 that can be divided by 2. Well, that would be -4. That's going to be the easiest one to choose. All right, let's substitute in -1/2 times -2 plus 1. That's going to end up being 2. And when I substitute in -4, -1/2 times -4 plus 1, that's going to end up being 3. Okay, let's graph those 2 points. So -2, 2. Oh, we forgot to check. Should it be an open circle or a closed circle? I see an equal to, so it should be a closed circle. And then remember, -4 is included in the set of things that are less than -2. So that one's going to be a closed circle also. So -2, 2 is a closed circle. And -4, 3 is a closed circle. All right, what do you guys think? Should I have an arrow or not? I should have an arrow because the set of things that is less than -2 goes on forever. So I want to have an arrow because this one does not have a stopping point. Okay, now on the bottom, let's put in 9. What do you guys think I should choose for my x values here? Well, I have to choose -2 and 2. I have to have a starting point and a stopping point. All right, this is just a number, no x value. So what kind of line am I going to have? I'm going to have a horizontal line at 9. All right, I went ahead and graphed that last piece for us because I'm getting ready to run out of time. Open circle because there's no equal to. Closed circle because there is an equal to, but no arrow because it has a starting